Hello everyone and welcome back. If you didn't already know, I'm Rob from INN Gaming and we're going to be going over the Holy Spell Power Druid deck. It's a really fun deck to play. Overall, it got me quite low in the ranks. Really, no, I wouldn't say easy to play, but it's fun nonetheless. I'm sorry my voice sounds like this. It probably sounds a little bit different than you're normal to, but that's only because I cannot breathe out of my nose and it's very hard for me to breathe out of my mouth. Being sick is not fun, so. With that said, we're going to head into our first ranked game here and see if we can pick up a win. So, we're going against a Warlock, so I can only assume he's going to be playing the Rush Warlock, as we've all seen, or you can call it the Zoo Warlock, because it comes with that stupid Naxxramas cards, that 4/4 egg piece of garbage. So far we've got the Innervate and a 4/4/4 plus 1 spell damage in our hand. Very, very nice. Ooh, a Yeti and a Ragnaros, okay. This, we can do turn 1 Yeti. That is always a good thing. I love me some turn 1 Yeti. Oh, another Innervate. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be, we can do turn 3 Ragnaros, or we can do turn 1 Yeti. I don't know. I want turn 3. Yeah, I don't know if I should do turn 3 Ragnaros or turn 1 Yeti. It is a rush deck, and he's not going to have any CCs, so I think I'm just going to do turn 3 Ragnaros, because he's no way of killing it whatsoever. Even though this may not be the best choice, because Ragnaros, oh gosh, there's the egg I was just talking about. The egg. So, I can't do anything right now. I'm going to use Massive, swing for a 1, gain 1 armor, end my turn. This is unfortunate, because when I play Ragnaros, it's probably going to kill that egg. I should have just played the Yeti on turn 1. I would have attacked last turn for 4 damage. And I could have innervated this turn for the mage. Oh, this is so unfortunate. If this costs me the game, I'm going to be very depressed. This voice is going to get 10 times deeper, and you're not going to hear from me again. So, we're going to coin. We're going to 1 Innervate, 2 Innervate, and 8 mana summons the Ragnaros on turn 3. So Ragnaros, do not attack that egg. Good choice, Ragnaros, attack the 3/2. Next turn, you're also going to avoid that egg. You're going to attack him directly. Actually, it's going to turn into that 4/4 spider, so you can kill that 4/4 spider if you'd like, Ragnaros. That is okay. I give you permission to do so. Also, we'll be playing the Magi or the Chill One Yeti next turn as well, so that would be just fantastic. He summons the Haunted Creepers, which is, oh my gosh, he's a retard. Actually, he's not a retard. So here comes a Yeti. I'm going to end my turn. It's probably going to kill a spider. Oh, that's the one card I didn't want it to kill. Okay. So, he now has a free 4/4 on the field, 2 1/2s that make 1/1s, 4 cards in hand, and 5 mana. So, what are we going to see from him? An Echoing Ooze. I wonder if he's going to buff that Ooze. Uh-oh, yes, he is. He's going to... Oh, gosh. I probably should have played the Magi, and then when I swiped, it would do 2 damage to everything else on the field and 4 damage to whatever I want. But instead, I didn't do that. So, I'm going to give my Yeti plus 4 health and taunts, so he's now going to be a 4/9 with taunts, passive, and then obviously I'm going to swing with 4 directly, swing with 1 directly, and Ragnaros is going to target something, probably a spider. Oh, there it is. And now his field is completely full, which means he can't play any more creatures unless he kills the ones that he already has on the field, which he's probably going to do because this Yeti is a giant taunt in his way. Honestly, you guys haven't really seen the point of this deck yet, due to the fact that I played a turn 3 Rag, and that kind of changes the deck build and how I normally would play it. But as you can see, a lot of the creatures in this deck, if not all of them, give me spell power. And swipe with spell power is so fun. Let's say you get plus 2 spell power on the field and you throw out a swipe. It's going to do 6 damage and 3 damage to everything else. So it's kind of like a Hellfire plus a 6 damage to whatever you want. So it looks like he summoned Doomguard. This isn't bad because next turn I'm going to be able to throw out that swipe, and I'm going to kill the Doomguard, kill the 2 1/1s, and get everything else pretty low. Ooh, well, we can Starfall. That's also a good choice. But I can't Starfall passive and Actually, yeah, I can Starfall. And that's going to kill almost everything. And these two are going to make new spiders. I'm going to end my turn, and let's see what it hits. It hits a 1/1. Okay, so that might have been a really dumb move because I wasn't able to kill the swipe, or not kill the Doom Guard. I should have just swiped the Doom Guard because 5 damage is a lot to take, especially when he's got 5 other damage on the field. So I'm going to be brought down to 4 health. I can do this. I can do this. Okay. This is going to be really cool because next turn I'm going to be able to throw down my Dalaran Mage and then swipe him. And it's going to do 5 damage to him directly. And it's going to do 2 damage to everybody else. So, whoop-bam. 5 damage to him, 2 to everything else. Everything's going to die. In my turn, Ragnaros is going to swing for 8. And if he draws some sort of charge like a Doom Guard, I lose. If he draws a Soulfire, I lose. If he draws anything that does damage directly, I lose. So he's gonna sack 2, draw 1, which means he didn't get it. He has 2 cards. That's not it, and that's not it either. So it looks like this is gonna be a good game. Yep, he conceded. So this is really exciting. We were able to pull off a pretty intense victory there, even though probably shouldn't have got the win. That was kind of stupid of me not to swipe the Doom Guard, but hey. Also, the deck list you can see is in the right-hand corner. I used to do a little review at the beginning of these videos, going over each card in the deck, why it's in the deck, and just a couple combos you can do with it, so you can understand the way I built it. And I'm going to be doing that at the end of these videos now. So instead of doing it at the front end, just if you'd like, at the end, continue watching and I'll explain all the cards in the deck, why they're in it, like I said, and why I chose them. If you're a little bit newer to Hearthstone, I've had a lot of people come to me and be like, hey, where did the beginning of your videos go? That really helped me out when playing these decks. So I'm going to add that back in. I'm just going to add it in at the end. So yeah, just to let you guys know. Also, since we're not really in the action yet and I can continue talking about random stuff, we're not just bound to YouTube. We've got a Twitter, we've got Instagram, and we've got a Facebook, and we do stuff a lot on there, whether it be funny gaming pictures, gaming news, all kinds of stuff. That's the place to go. So all those links can be found in the description below. Alright, so heading back to the game here, as you can see, I did an Innervate and I summoned my Ogre, or my Magi, on turn 2. So I'm going to passive swing for 1 and then swing for 4. So bringing him down a nice 5 health. It looks like he's going to be playing the Control Legendary Warlock deck, just by the Watcher he put out. So I would expect to see Molten Giants, Mountain Giants, a lot of taunts. My voice is coming back now a little bit through talking so much, so it's going to be constantly changing. So hopefully you guys don't think I'm some creeper trying to fluctuate my voice all the time. It's just because I'm semi-sick, my throat hurts, my nose is stuffy, can't breathe out of it whatsoever, and yeah. So I'm going to end up silencing his Twilight Drake, making it a 4/1, which kind of sucks because it still has 4 attack. It can still kill the mage. Just when it kills the mage, it will kill itself in the process as well. You know what pisses me off? When I'm playing my priest deck and I have a light well out, and then they swap the attack and defense of my light well, so it ends up killing my light well because its defense would then be 0 and its attack would be 5. So that's what really grinds my gears. So it looks like he swung directly with that. Okay, never mind. So he swung directly and then blew it up, killing both the creatures on my field. So that's really annoying. So I'm going to throw down the Dalaran Mage, use my passive, and again swing for 1. It looks like he only has 6 cards in hand. I've got 4 with 1 on the field, so he definitely has 7 cards to my 5. I draw 1, so I'm 1 card advantage down as of the end of his turn. Another Twilight Drake, okay. So, nice Starfall. We're gonna, obviously, Starfall normally does 5, but it does 6 because of the Dalaran Mage, so I can hit that guy for 6, swing for 1, and end my turn. So we're heading into late game now. I've got Force and 8. I've got really 4 very powerful cards in my hand, especially Centaurus and Ragnaros. Swipe is just fantastic, and so is Force and Nature. So I'm going to see a taunt in between these. Yep, there it is. So this buys him time. He gets 2 taunts with both 4/5s of taunts. It's absolutely insane. Swipe does 5 damage, so I can swipe 1 and then it's going to bring the other one down to 3. I can do this. I wanted to normally deal 2 damage to draw a card, but I don't have my passive to hit him because I need 1 more mana to do that. So I'm going to have to end up using this to kill, dealing 4 damage to this guy. And then I'm going to again swing for 1. Actually, should I kill his creature or should I swing for 1? I think I'm going to kill his creature. So he's at 6 cards in hand again. I got 4, so again I'm 1 card advantage down. What's he gonna do? He's gonna coil, and then he has 2 coils in his hand. Yep. So now he's gonna have 5 cards to my 4 cards. He's gonna have 6 cards to my 3 cards. Let's see if he plays a card and an 8/8 for free. Okay. So I'm gonna throw out the Ragnaros. Hopefully Ragnaros targets the Molten Giant. And it doesn't. Okay, so if he, good thing, I do have Force of Nature in my hand though, so if he ends up not playing any taunts and not healing himself this turn, there's the heal. Okay, so Force of Nature can no longer take him out. But we did draw a swipe and we have a Force of Nature. So I'm going to throw down the Centaurus. I'm going to summon those 2 2s with taunts, and then next turn I'll be able to Force of Nature and I'll be able to swipe. That right there is about 10 damage. Plus he has to kill the 9 damage I have on the field. So I can do 19 damage next turn if he does not kill anything, which obviously he is probably going to kill something. But it looks like next turn is going to be GG for him. It's just it took him too long to play Molten Giant and Mountain Giant and all that. Well, he didn't play Mountain Giant. He's played Molten Giant, but it took him too long to play his big 8/8s. So obviously he looks like he doesn't have much to do. He does still have 6 cards in his hand though, and he can still sack 2, draw 1, which is, by the way, the most OP passive in this game. The Warlock passive is absolutely insane for all rush decks, and especially this Control Legendary Giant deck that he's playing. The deck that he's playing now, I actually do have a deck build on it. So if you're questioning, like, hey man, how do you play 8/8? How do you play all these 8/8s? I'm getting wrecked by this Control Warlock deck that seems to just be smothering and covering me. I've actually got the deck he's playing, probably a little bit version a little bit better than his, because I definitely wouldn't lose if I had his deck. That's like one of the most OP decks I've ever played. So yeah. So it looks like next turn is going to be well played. I'm just going to throw down the Force of Nature, and then I can just swipe for victory, like I said. So swipe and swing for 2, swing for 2, and that's game over. So far so good. This deck is actually doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. There's a lot of spells in this deck, and they benefit a lot from having those extra spell powers like the Magi, the Dalaran Mage, along with the Azure Drake. So we're going to head into our 3rd rank game now. We'll see how we do. I'm sure we're probably going to be able to pull off a victory. I've been really quite lucky so far, and yeah. If you have any questions or concerns, just throw it in the comment section below. I myself answer, and along with Tony, if you haven't seen him in any of our other videos, we answer you guys' questions. We love the feedback you guys give us. These videos, again, are for you guys. So if you've got any suggestions or anything you'd like to say at all, just feel free to throw it in the comment section below. We enjoy reading your guys' feedback. All right, so we got an Innervate and a Chillwind Yeti and a Magi in our hand. So we definitely can do that turn 2 Yeti. Since we're not going second, we don't have a coin, so we can't do that first turn Yeti, but we can do second turn Yeti. So he's got nothing to do, so I'm going to throw down, like I said, the Innervate. We're going to play the Yeti, and we're going to entertain. So he's got 2 mana. I wouldn't be surprised if he throws a backstab or something like that, or maybe just uses weapon and swing for 1. Normally Rogue's decks can't really get the ball rolling until about turn 3 the earliest, and then obviously 4 and 5 is when they start heavily pushing out all the big spells, Preparation, the Auctioneer, and all that good stuff. Oh, so he's actually going to Deadly Poison, and he's probably going to attack the Yeti. Yep, so he's going to take 4 to the face. Alright, so since I'm drawing all of these 4 drops and an 8 drop, obviously I'm just going to swing for 4, swing for 1, end my turn, and then he's going to use, It's weird because now he's going to end up taking another 4 to the face. If he would have waited to use that deadly poison, he probably has drawn a backstab. So if he would have backstabbed it first, because in order for you to backstab, it has to be an undamaged creature. So he's going to actually have to take 4 again to the face. So on turn 3, I've done 13 damage to him, which is really nice. So he's going to use his weapon again and end his turn. From here, it's turn 4 for me, so I can throw down a Magi. And my turn, next turn, depending on what he does, I'm going to be playing the Azure Drake or the Keeper of the Grove. The Keeper of the Grove is a really nice card. It's a 2/4, and it does 2 damage or it silences a creature, and that silence definitely comes in handy all of the time. Because most of my decks, I fail to like run a silence card, but with Druids, it kind of already has it built in. Like the card is the 2 damage, it gives you the option 2 damage or a silence instead of playing a card just for the silence, and you kind of have to hold on to those cards until your opponent plays something worthy. So he's gonna Shiv, deal 1 damage, draw a card. He's gonna swing for 1 to my face, and maybe he's gonna weapon up again. Yep. And he's going to end his turn. So he's really not doing much. He does have a lot of cards in his hand, though. He has 7 cards in hand, and I've only got 4, now 5, because I'm going to draw 1. I'm going to swing for 4 and end my turn. So I'm waiting to see if this rogue starts pulling out all the combos, because I know as soon as they get on a little combo road, they go crazy. It's like a cracked addict when he gets his drugs. He's just absolutely insane. Can't stop them. They get superhuman strength, and then there's no way, no amount of polymorph hex or my poor little 4/4 ogre magi can do against them. So he did all that damage, he shivved it, and he Phantom Knives, all to return it back to my hand. Okay. It would have been funny if he returned my Azure Drake, I would have laughed. Because then I get to just draw again. So I can innervate, throw down the Ragnaros, swing for 4, and then end my turn. It's going to do 8 damage, so he's going to be left at 1 health left. I pretty much guarantee this is going to be GG. He hasn't, yeah, there he goes. He must have had a really bad hand or something, because he just didn't do anything all game. I kind of just, unless I was countering what he was doing, I'm not really sure. But either way, you got this game, this deck, obviously you saw it can win on turn 5 to 6 in a good setting, and if not, you got to see a little bit about it. So from here, we're going to head right into the deck list, like I said, and we're going to go over why I have which cards in the deck and a couple of the combos you can use with them. All right, so we move our eyes to the right side of the screen. We'll see our deck, and I'm just going to go off here. I'm not really going to go into my library and a little bit open up the deck list, because the deck list is literally right here on the side. So we've got the Innervate. This is bread and butter for sure. It's a 0 cost. Give yourself 2 mana crystals for that turn. This is your turn 1 Yeti, your turn 3 Ragnaros. It is your bread and your butter. It's going to give you what you need when you need it. So just play it at the right time. It's kind of a waste if you use it only for 1 mana. Definitely make sure you use it. Get the double crystals off of it. So if you got a creature that costs 4 and you only have 2 mana, obviously it's a good time to use it. You got turn 6, this and a Ragnaros. Use this, play Rag. Overall, really nice card. I would definitely keep it in the deck. Moonfire is definitely, I wouldn't say it's optional in this deck, but it's not mandatory. It's a 0 cost, deal 1 damage. So it may be like, oh, it only does 1 damage, but if you got already 2 spell power creatures on the field, it's going to do 3 damage for free. So it's just the fact that it costs 0 mana is the reason why I'm keeping it in this deck, because even if you only have 1 spell power creature and they play like a Knife Juggler and you've got your Dalaran Mage out, it costs 0 mana to kill that the Knife Juggler, and you can play like another card. So I think the 0 mana cost definitely is what makes this card worthy in the deck. Wraith, this is also bread and butter. Deal 3 damage to a card, or you can deal 1 damage and draw a card, but let's say you have 1 to 2 spell power creatures out. You definitely can do 2 damage to a creature and draw a card, and a lot of the earlier game creatures have 1 to 2 health. So again, the whole point of this deck is spell power Druid, so play spells. That's the whole point of it. So just make sure you've got your spell power creatures out, make sure you're playing those spells. Again, 3-drop Mark of Nature. This is pretty much to keep your spell power creatures alive. Don't really pick the +4 attack unless you know you're going to be swinging for a good 1 to 2 turns. A turn 1 Yeti and then a turn 2 Mark of Nature or turn 3 Mark of Nature is definitely a good way to go. You can go with a +4 health and taunt to be safe, but just remember, if you're going to do that, they're most likely going to polymorph it, because they have no way of dealing with 8 health and a 4 attack creature on turn 3. There's just no way. So they're definitely going to use some of their bigger CC to get rid of that. Dalaran Mage, this is the whole point of the deck, like I said before. It's the spell power deck. So he's a 3-drop for 1/4, so his stats aren't great, but he's get +1 spell power, which is great because he stays alive for a pretty long time. Turn 3 with 4 health. It's good. It's a good amount of health. The 1 attack isn't really why he's there. It's the spell power is why he's there. Moving down here to Swipe, this is absolutely essential. This is a great card. This is your #1 spell. This is deal 4 damage to whatever the hell you feel like it and 1 damage to everything else. So let's say you've got 2 or 3 spell power creatures on the field. Let's say this does 6 damage to a single target and it's going to do 3 damage to everything else on the field. So it does massive field clear and definitely does a ton of damage up front. Chillwind Yeti, this is just a brute. This guy is a monster. For 4, you cannot argue with a 4-drop with a 4/5 attack. Like that is, he's a great card. The opponent, it's just you play this card and your opponent's just like shit, a Chillwind Yeti. Like he has to waste a fireball, he's got to waste, sometimes they even waste some of their bigger CC, so that's really nice. Keeper of the Grove, this is pretty much use this guy for the optional. You've got the silence just in case they play something really annoying, that they buff something crazy up, or let's say they play a Ysera, or just something you need to silence, whether it even be a taunt so you can attack and win the game. Keeper of Grove is definitely a keep them in your deck. The silence are 2 damage, again, really great. The Ogre Magi, this is again for the spell power. The 4/4 stats aren't why you have them in the deck, the +1 spell power is. Still pretty annoying to get rid of though. 4/4 for 4 +1 spell power, not a bad card. Moving down here to Starfall, this is pretty much your field clear or your single target DPS. I wouldn't say it's as good as Swipe, but I'd say it's a different kind of scenario than you'd use from Swipe. So like Starfall, really good against if you're playing like a Murloc Rush or a Zoo Warlock. This can clear the field. It does 2 damage to everybody already up front, or 5 damage to a single target. So let's say you only have Dalaran Mage out, it's going to do 3 damage to everybody. So that's a Hellfire. Or you can just do the 6 damage directly if they have something huge out. Moving down here, the Azar Drake, this is definitely essential. And as soon as you play him, you draw a card. So he automatically goes 1 for 1. He's a 4/4 for 5, so his stats aren't that great. But the fact that you get to draw a card as soon as you play him, and the fact that he gives you +1 spell power, definitely have him in the deck. That's a solid reason. Force of Nature, you can play 1 to 2 of these cards. Right now I'm just running 1 because I only have 1. But this is a 6-drop, summon 3 2/2s that have charge. So with that, you can pretty much, it's unlimited the amount of combos you can use with this card. As you can see in the last game, I was able to couple this with Swipe to win the game, to deal a decent amount of damage in 1 turn. You can use this to get rid of a big creature, or you can just use it to clear smaller creatures. It's really scenario based, but overall Force of Nature, really nice card. If you don't have it, it's not a big deal, but it definitely gets you out of the sticky situations. Starfire, this is I mean, it's not, you don't need it, but again, this is the whole point of this deck is spell power, so you can't really forget the core of this whole thing is just to play spell power creatures and then to play your spells that are spell power. So it kind of just like they have to kill the creatures or your spells do tons of damage, and if they ignore your creatures, your spells are just going to continuously every turn wipe the floor with them, and you're just going to keep swinging with your creatures, eventually leading to game. So this card is going to do 5 damage and you draw a card. So it automatically goes 1 for 1 when you play it, and it does do a good amount of damage. Ancient Lore, our 7-drop. He's an epic, and so is an Ancient of War. So this deck is a little bit more on the expensive side because it does have Force of Nature, Ancient Lore, Ancient War, Ragnaros, and Centaurus. But it's just when you get to these lower rankings, you're going to need some of the better cards. I definitely have decks that do not have legendaries in them, or very few, or maybe just 1 and almost no epics that are good still and do make it into the low rankings. But for this deck, it's kind of hard to get around putting these better cards in it. So if you can't afford these cards, it's really not a big deal. Just kind of build this deck and see if you can replace them with maybe some other spell power creatures or some of the other spells in the deck. Ancient Lore is draw 2 cards or return 5 mana. Most of the time you're going to pick the 2 cards. But if you're really low on health, of course, pick the 5 mana. But again, 2 card advantage for a 7-drop. It's a 5/5. Solid creature. Ancient of War, this guy is freaking beast. He's going to annoy the shit out of your opponent. Make sure you pick the taunt plus, make sure you give the +5 health with taunt. Don't pick the attack. That's stupid because he's going to die really easily. A fireball can kill him, a starfall, Starfire. So just make sure you do make him a 5/10 with taunt, and it's going to drive your opponent crazy. I hate when Druids play this card against me because I always have to waste CC or silence him and win the game the turn after because the guy's a beast. Ragnaros, the Fire Lord. If you don't have this guy or you don't have any legendaries yet, I recommend you getting this guy first. He's probably one of the best all-around legendaries that you can play. He fits into almost every single deck you're going to build. He's a great card. Unlike some of the other ones that are kind of class-specific, because the Druid has Centaurus, the Warrior has Hellscream, so it's kind of just like Ragnaros can fit into all decks because he's that neutral legendary. Moving down here to Centaurus, this is definitely a really, really nice Druid card. His stats, the 5/9 stats aren't what makes him great. What makes him great is the fact that you can give all creatures on your side of the field plus 2/2, or you can summon 2/2 Trents with Taunt. So he kind of gives you a turn that you can live, and then the next turn you can do some big things. So he definitely gets you out of some sticky situations. Again, like I said, this deck is a little bit more on the expensive side, but it is overall a really fun deck, and you'll get a good rank with it if you play it. So it's not like it's not worth spending the coin on or the points if you can. Overall, if you guys enjoyed the video, throw a like. If you haven't, throw a dislike. I know throw a dislike. Why is he telling me to dislike his video? Well, it helps us show that, hey, they didn't really like this video. We should probably change it up a bit. And the feedback is everything to us. So again, just let us know how we're doing in the comment section below. Know that we're not bound by the restraints of YouTube. We can be found on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And again, sorry for the fact that I sound weird as hell getting through a cold here. And hopefully you guys aren't like, why does he sound weird? He sounds retarded. Like, I'm actually doing the best I can to talk right now. So with that said, again, guys, I just want to say thank you for stopping by the inn, and I'm Rob.